And welcome back to The Wrap. I'm Joe Concha, joined by Rick Unger, Heather Hansen, and Hank Sheinkoff. President Obama now breaking his silence about the 2016 presidential election, and guess who he doesn't like? Governor Scott Walker. In a statement yesterday, the president hammering Mr. Walker over Wisconsin's new law that prohibits unions from forcing its members to pay dues. The president saying in part, and we quote, "It's inexcusable that, over the past several years, just when middle-class families and workers need the kind of security that that's been a sustained, coordinated assault on unions led by powerful interests and their allies in government. So I'm deeply disappointed that a new anti-worker law in Wisconsin will weaken rather than strengthen workers in the new economy." Governor Walker responding with his own statement yesterday. We have the quotes there as well. On the heels of vetoing Keystone Pipeline legislation, which would have paved the way to create thousands of quality middle-class jobs, the president should be looking to states like Wisconsin as an example for how to grow our economy. Rick, the latest Gallup poll on unions finds that Americans do support unions by 71%. Look at that.
They support unions?
Well, but 71%, said they would vote for right to work laws. And by the way, 84% thinks that half of the movie with Jack Nicholson was too long. But still a quality flick. So that said, should the president just stayed out of the debate?
Somebody suggested, it may have been you, that we should just put a picture of Scott Walker up and watch the steam blow out of my ears for 6 minutes.
But he won CPAC, according to you, yesterday.
That's about right.
Yeah, or last week.
Look, I mean, what can I say about this? I think that it's just a crime that in Wisconsin, which is where unions began, that this would happen. You have to understand what well, let me finish. My goodness. You have to understand what a right to work law is. And basically what it does is it allows people, under the law as it currently stands, you don't have to join a union. You do have to pay dues to a union if they are negotiating on your behalf. So all right to work laws do is it says you get a free ride. You don't have to join the union, but you get all the benefits because the union shop's still going to negotiate for you and you get all the goodies and you don't have to pay. And they only do this to take money out of the pockets of the unions because what do unions support? Democrats. Well, so it's the most cynical thing in the world. There's nothing I can do to stop it. I think it's a shame in an era where people are not being paid what they should that we're doing this, but that's America today.
You know that unions are not what they used to be.
I agree, but so, we ought to be strengthening them, not destroying them.
No, they're just not. It's just not serving the good that they were supposed to serve. But it's not going to happen, and it's not the case. And as that poll showed, the majority of Americans see that as the reality. The thing that I thought was interesting about this, I think the best thing that ever.
By the way?
No.
Well, I have. Have you?
But when? How long ago? It has changed drastically.
It's changed since PATCO because Reagan destroyed that union, and that set the standard for what people get away with. And if you think it's really worked out well, you need to look at the income and wage gap and wealth gap in this country. Unions created the middle class in this country. You want to know why we don't have a middle class today? Because we don't have unions negotiating and forcing people in power to give up.
Well,
you have to share what you got.
There's got to be something new put in place because the unions,
how about negotiations and contracts?
But the unions, as they currently
negotiations and contracts are always good.
Democratic fundraiser is really what they are. The thing
I don't tell Taft and Hartley to go past the 14B.
By the way, you want to complain
and take on the unions?
Complain about public unions because you have a legitimate point. But don't destroy private unions at the same time.
I think that they both, and like I said, not only do the majority of Americans agree, but the majority of states have now passed similar laws. But the thing that is most interesting to me about this is the fact that Obama comes out and criticizes Walker, I think does nothing more than lift him up in the eyes of his fans.
Let's go back to the right to work issues. The reason why governors are passing laws such as these wherever they can is because they don't want to pay the cost of public employee health care and public employee pensions. They want to have that fight, that's fine. So you don't want to have to fight and negotiate with your employees. So what you do is you circumvent that negotiation and you pass a law to make it impossible to negotiate. That's exactly not what conflict resolution is about. That's very good in coercive persuasion environments, which are close to you-know-what, like it's called not democracy. That's fine, but this is a fix. If you want to have a blow-up in this country, keep screwing working people out of what they got. Keep making it impossible for people to get in the middle class. Without unions, there's no way to get there. It's just that simple.
How does Scott Walker keep getting reelected in Wisconsin if he's doing such horrible things in a blue state, no less?
Agreed.
Well, first of all, it's not the blue state it used to be. Second of all,
when was the last time it went Democratic in an election or Republican in an election?
Thompson.
Tommy Thompson for governor.
No,
before this
presidential.
one. I can't remember.
Reagan, 84.
Okay, so great.
So that's
you
a blue state in my definition.
Really? You would judge everything by the presidential election, not
Yes,
the
I
state
would,
elections?
actually.
Well, I don't, frankly.
Okay.
So that being said,
That makes
look
New
at-
Jersey a red
wait,
state
look at-
under your definition.
Look at how he got reelected. Okay, first of all, he got elected. They had the recall. Nobody tracked the recall like I did, and the reason he got elected, you had numerous Democrats going, I don't like this guy, but I think this is unfair. And they voted for him because they thought that he was being mistreated. I got to tell you something. Everybody agrees that had he had to run in a presidential election year for re-election, he would have gotten his you-know-what with.
Hypotheticals,
but
right?
he didn't.
He just
well,
keeps
Right.
winning.
Right.
you would
state.
struggle to
There's
find
something-
any expert of either side who doesn't agree with
the
that.
And on that
response-
note,
The
Hank?
response was the public sector union, but pensions and health care costs. That's why he got worse.
Okay, that is our last word. So coming up next, it's potluck time, a much happier time here in the Daily Wrap. This is the Daily Wrap, only on Newsmax TV.